Congress is considering bipartisan legislation aimed to help Mahoning Valley neighborhoods. The Neighborhood Home Investment Act will create a federal tax incentive to build and preserve more than 500,000 single-family homes over the next 10 years. Guy Coviello from the Youngstown Warren Regional Chamber joins us here now to talk more about how this could help our area. Thank you so much for taking the time.
You're welcome, Lindsay. Good to have you join me.
So 17% of Valley residents live at or below the poverty line. How will this bill provide interest rates that will allow them to afford a home in the first place?
Yeah, so one of the challenges that we face as we have a need to grow the housing market here is that the cost of construction is as much here as it is anywhere else, but the value of the homes here, because of our low cost of living, are below what a builder can make elsewhere, and so we struggle to find builders. What this does is enables the builders to have their profit be competitive with other communities across the country, but bringing the cost down of the construction so that it can be more affordable to those here that whose salaries are not as high as they are in other communities. So we do think that if we can get this legislation passed, it will help stimulate housing in communities like Youngstown all across the country.
And this legislation was introduced coincidentally the day after Trumbull County Commissioner Denny Malloy met with members of the Trump administration. He said he talked about replacing housing that is often removed when new industries come in. He joined us here at 5 and explained that he was complaining about the lack of inventory. Do you think this bill will help with that specifically, or is this for a different group?
This bill, there are circumstances in which this bill would definitely help. And so we do hear Commissioner Malloy, we do hear concerns from others. And certainly when people are displaced by economic development projects, this is an opportunity to help them relocate. But it goes way beyond that. We do have, just in general, an issue with affordability. And so when Congressman Kelly introduced this, in his district in Mercer and Lawrence counties in Pennsylvania face the same situations we face, then we talked with Congressman Ruley to make sure that we got additional support. And so Congressman Ruley came on as a co-sponsor, and we're very grateful for that and looking forward to helping champion this thing through Congress.
Now, the legislation mentions tax credits to sponsors. Can you explain how that will work?
Yeah, so if you're an investor, if you're a developer, if you're a builder, the investment you make produces a tax credit so that you can make money from the tax credit or save money from the tax credit, apply that to the cost of the new construction. And so that brings the cost down and allows the builder, developer, investor to still make the adequate profit, make it affordable to build. There's another component that is not yet in the legislation that we are trying for, and whether it's in this legislation or something standalone, and also whether it's federal, state, or county, we'd also like to see what's called a linked deposit program. And the way that works is a builder, or I should say a community, could invest in a lending institution, and instead of receiving a certain interest rate, the going interest rate for that investment, the community, the county, the state, or the federal government would accept a lower interest rate, and then under condition that that lending institution then apply the difference to lowering the interest rate for buyers. And we like this aspect because then it allows the buyers to pay more for the property, and then it brings up the property values of everybody in that neighborhood where the home is being built. So that's something we want to work on trying for later after we get this legislation passed.
And really quick, you said AI might be used to build some of these homes?
Not so much AI, but robotics. And so we do have a couple members of our chamber here in the local community that will be using 3D printing and robots to help with the construction. This increases the speed time of the construction. It has some impact on lowering cost, but it also really alleviates the labor shortage we have in terms of finding construction workers. So we can 3D print basements, for example. We could also use robots assisted by a skilled tradesman to do drywall. So a lot of different ways that we're getting very creative to increase the amount of housing that we have here in the Mahoning Valley so that we can keep up with the economic growth that we're experiencing.
All right, well, keep tabs on this legislation. Guy, thank you so much for taking time to join us right here at 5 tonight.
You're welcome.